to sort of chance and things just happening?
Today, the world is so negative, full of war, full of hate, full of hopelessness. We want to change it. We want it to be right. We want to change the world, but don't know how to start. What if the answer was there all along? What if there was no such thing as coincidence?
Okay. So, do you believe in coincidence?
No, I don't believe in coincidence.
So you don't. So do you think like your life is all planned out already, or do you think it's just everything's chance?
I just think that everything's not planned out for it, but you just go through what you do, and then what happens next is predicted by what you've done before.
What if there was one big plan, and what if you could be part of that plan? Some of this negative stuff comes from what we think about ourselves, what we are fed by the media, and what people expect from us. Evan is a clear example of this pressure. Pressure that isn't needed and breeds a false sense of reality in himself. Evan says that an image is everything, isn't it? And this is what our culture has duped us into believing, that faith has no place in this world. Faith will not fight its
If you could choose one thing that would dramatically change your life, what would it be and why?
I really don't know. Trying to understand why things happen, go back to the first question. So if there's a reason for it, or if it's just damn annoying.
Faith is replaced by idolatry. God is replaced with anything we can get our hands on. Our own knowledge, our income, our looks, the cult of celebrity, and in Evan's case, success. As university students, we can identify with Evan and the successes. Even if we don't have a mantra that we say in front of the mirror every day to fool ourselves. I'm successful, powerful, handsome and happy. What are your priorities? And more importantly, where are they coming from? And do they make you happy? Are they really as important as they seem?
What are the 3 most important things in your life?
Obvious, I suppose, like friends, family, and my job. I was going to say money then, but that's really shallow. No, my job. Future job.
Do you think the image is everything?
No, but I think, yeah, especially looking at me. No, like in modern day society, it is really important though, and especially in like obviously like the Western world and things. I think it's more important than people would like to admit.
But in the end of Evan Almighty, we see the image isn't everything. Evan has to wear that hideous robe, have a huge beard, be humiliated in front of his co-workers and the whole world. He almost loses those closest to us. In the end, Evan realises that taking a leap of faith, trying to understand what it is to follow God, although scary to jump into, is infinitely worth it. How many of us could change the world if we only took a chance to change our own lives first?
If there's a God, do you think he would choose you?
Oh yeah, definitely, because I'm not the best person in the whole wide world. He tends to use people who are not really good at various things, but he's like the master, and he can mould you and shape you into whoever you want you to be and make you into something wonderful.
So do you think he accepts anybody?
Totally. You don't have to fix yourself up to go to church. He will take you just as you are, and then he will start doing the mending. You just have to be willing to accept it.
Looking at our world, we can see Evan is right when he says, I need all the help I can get. But how many of us are willing to get down on our knees and try talking to something or someone we at first may find irrational and seemingly intangible? And if you were to pray, what would you say? Would you need to introduce yourself to God, or would he know you already? Is it pointless to pray? And if you did, would you end up being mocked with names like Evan, the weirdo with the beardo? Can you imagine that there is a God? Suspend your conditioning and your disbelief for 1 second and imagine. Imagine that this God loves you and that he would do anything for you, including giving his son's life for you. Not only that, but for you, this son went through pain and suffering. Imagine that this God knows how many hairs there are on your head, how your life will pan out, that this God knows you better than you know yourself, that he knows your flaws, insecurities, everything, and still loves you anyway. This is what Christians believe, in a loving, accepting and just God. What's more, it's just like the film says, He chose all of us. The question is, do you want to be chosen?
Is it pointless to pray? And why?
Personally, no, because I think somebody will be listening somewhere. If there was a God, what do you think he would be like?
He would be kind of, I suppose, like Jesus. He'd be very selfless. He'd be trustworthy. He'd be loyal. He'd be like a really good friend who does better things. I wasn't going to say be a woman. No, I don't think he'd be a woman. I don't specify that. I just think he'd be a very nice person who'd care more about other people than himself.
What do you think God is like, and what do you think He looks like?
If he is real, then I don't think he's a person as such. I'd have said he takes more of a spiritual form than a person.
And is it really as weird and scary as it sounds to be chosen? Is there a God? What does He look like? And what does He want for us on earth? But Noah's story, the story of the ark, is commonly misconstrued as just a demonstration of God's wrath and anger. Whilst God was upset that the world had turned so cruel and violent, He worked in love. Everything I do it because I love you. Rather than blindly killing innocent people, God was removing impurity from the world, eradicating the bad so that the good can flourish. So we had a second chance. God's actions then are that of a loving and just God, not an unreasonable murderer or some guy on a power trip manipulating us with puppet strings.
In the film, Evan is really criticised for listening to God. Do you think that being a Christian is like a little bit weird and old-fashioned way of living?
Definitely not, no. If that's what you believe in, then that's your beliefs, if you like. It's not individual choice.
Okay, if there's a God, would He choose you?
As a person, yes.
God, would He choose you?
I hope so. I don't really know. I don't know if there is a God and what his criteria for choosing people is. I suppose I've been pretty good. I hope to think I have.
In Evan Almighty, Evan's family grow closer through the experience and prayer is answered, not explicitly or in an obvious way, but in a way that helps Evan learn, helps him grow and in the end gives him freedom. The main positive part of the story is that God promised that it will never happen again, and the rainbow signifies that. So in our times we must ask, where's the rainbow? Who makes the wars? Who has the power to save, and why aren't they saving us? Too often we are led to believe that God is some greedy tyrant who refuses to save us in our need. Is that true, or is our perspective skewed? What if all that was needed was to recognise that God only works for good, but someone else makes the bad, and that in order to be rescued, it's just a case of reaching out? So it boils down to this. Evan asks God, "Do I know you?" God replies, "Not as well as I'd like." Living well, being good, going to church on Sunday means jack if you don't have a clue who God is. Can God save? Can you know Him? Can your life be changed? The invitation is there. It's your choice to step on the ark.